Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Brittnee. Today is the last chocolate design that I'll be showing you from my Barbie Bonbon box. This is the one that was called Corvette Cruisin' and is a really simple, clean, light pink, white, and silver design. Once again, this is another design that can be applied to other colors and look great. Originally, I was a little bit disappointed that you couldn't see the white more on this design, but then I started to appreciate the simplicity of it. It's pretty subtle, but it looks really nice and clean with the silver leaf on it. But if you want to try out this design and you want the contrast to be higher, just use a darker pink or any other brighter color. All right, let's get going. Here are the supplies that you'll need. Pre-colored cocoa butters from Chef Rubber. The colors I use today are alabaster white and princess pink mixed with alabaster white to make a lighter pink. Some edible silver leaf, lemon extract, and tweezers. A medium-sized flat paintbrush like this one, and a large soft round paintbrush like this one. And a polycarbonate chocolate mold. You can use a lot of different shapes for this design, but today I'm using round. The first step for today's design is to take your tempered white cocoa butter and medium flat paintbrush, and you'll paint around the top edge of the mold. The easiest way to do this is what I'm trying to demonstrate here. You split the brush in about half and rest it on the side furthest from you with the bristles facing away from you. And then you paint towards you as you also circularly rotate the mold in the opposite direction that you're painting. Rotating the mold as you paint will help you make the full circle without having to stop or twist your wrist in a weird way and interrupt the stroke. Explaining this is kind of confusing, but if you try it out, you'll get a feel for it pretty quick. And showing you is definitely easier than trying to describe it, so watch here as I paint a handful of chocolate cavities. Now here's a better view I'll show you as I do my second coat for the paint stripe that is probably easier to translate into trying this yourself. One thing that helps with the rotation is to start with the mold rotated as far to the right as your left wrist can be. So that would be rotated clockwise. Then as you paint, you'll rotate your left hand holding the mold counterclockwise to help paint the full circle. And I found that 2 coats is definitely enough for the white to show and look nice. But as I mentioned before, if you want it to really pop, use a brighter or darker background color. And here's yet another view for variety in case it helps anybody to understand the movement even better. Now the next step is to add the background color, which for me today is a light pink. To get this color, I started with the alabaster white and added the princess pink to it little by little until I liked the color. Be sure to start with white and add the pink. If you start with pink and add white, you might end up using a lot of white to lighten the pink as much as you'd like. To back these bonbons, I just dip my fluffy round paintbrush about halfway in and swirl a thin coat into the mold as I always do when I paint bonbons fully by hand. And by the time I finish the first coat, the cavities I started with are dry and ready for the second coat. If ever you are using a light cocoa butter color and you're worried your chocolate may show through, just hold your mold up to a light. If you can see thin spots that really shine through, just add a little bit more in those spots and you should be good to go. Here I shell my light pink bonbons with tempered dark chocolate. And right here, I cap them also with dark chocolate. And I had already filled them with my raspberry truffle filling. I have a video for that recipe on my channel if you're interested. Now when I unmold these, you'll see that even though I molded a light cocoa butter with a dark chocolate, the pink keeps its color and the dark doesn't show through. So that means my cocoa butter coat was thick enough to block out all the background color. But what you also might see is that on some of the bonbons, there is a dark chocolate ring along the bottom edge. And this is a great learning opportunity. So this can happen for a couple different reasons. The first reason could be that after I fill my chocolate shells and let the filling set, I chill them in my wine cooler, usually overnight. When it's time to cap the bonbons, I bring them first to room temperature, and then right before capping them, I give a quick run over the mold with a heat gun to warm up the chocolate just enough to adhere to the chocolate I add to the bottom. If you aren't careful, you can sometimes overdo it with the heat gun, and those really fine edges melt and run down the mold. The second reason could be that my cocoa butter shells were a little too thick to start with, or the cocoa butter was over-tempered. If either of those things happen, the really thin cocoa butter shell can actually crystallize and release from the mold all by itself. Then, when you go to cap the bonbons, the chocolate can fall into that tiny little gap between the cocoa butter shell and the mold and leave a little mark on the outside like that. So try to avoid both of these mistakes as you practice, and the more you practice, the more consistent your results will be. To finish off these bonbons, I add a bit of silver leaf to each one. I first dab a little bit of lemon extract onto the surface where I want the silver leaf to go. The liquid helps attract the silver leaf and gives it something to stick to. And the reason I use lemon extract is because it has high alcohol content and it evaporates quickly. You can also use vodka if you'd like. I like the lemon because I always have it on hand and it smells really good. And I get a lot of people asking if the lemon extract leaves a flavor behind, and it does leave a tiny bit of flavor, but not enough to bother me. After I add my silver leaf to the extract, I let it dry completely and then gently pat it down and brush off the excess with a fan brush. You can use any type of brush, but lately I've found that the fan brush works really nice. And after adding the silver leaf, the bonbons are finished. All right, guys, there is another bonbon design idea for you. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. If you did, please let me know by giving the video a like and leaving me a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, today's the day. If you'd like to see something else that's sweet, just click on one of these thumbnails. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.